What is it like in your personal life? I mean, you don't have to name any organizations, but are you supporting like something like Amnesty or?
Yeah, and again,
Do you separate your garbage, for example?
I always recycle. And I'm obsessive about recycling. I'm quite an obsessive person. So I kind of, yeah, I do that. And I personally, I give to various things, but, you know, and that's because I can. You know, it's as simple as that.
Let me see. Compared to Suddenly Last Summer, the album from 2009, which was, in my opinion, that those songs I heard quite a theatrical album with a kind of jazz influence, and it was inspired by a trip to Australia and recorded there. Compared to Homage, what would you say? Which one is closer to your heart?
Again, that's a really strange one because, you know, when someone says to you, "Oh, what's your favorite record?" That's just the most ridiculous question to ask.
No, it's not. It's not favorite. Yeah.
No, but what I'm going to say is, so when I done Suddenly Last Summer, that was then. So that's where I was, and those songs were songs that I loved, and it's a cover. It's an album of covers, and this is an album of where I am now, and this is all songs that I've written, and I've got no covers. And
I didn't know that was a cover.
See.
I'm sorry.
Do you need to go to bed?
Maybe after the interview. Let me see. Oh, John Winfield was producing this album. How big was his impact on the album?
Well, I've known John for like 20 years, and we've always done for the last maybe 5-6 years, a little bit more. Because I can't remember now. Well, but more than that, isn't it? 5, 6, 7, 4, 5. Anyway, I've known John for a long time, and about 20 years, and John's love of music is just enormous. And the two of us, we just have such fun when we're writing. And so the both of us we wrote, arranged and produced this album. And that's the first time that I've been so really involved in arranging and producing, because usually I kind of maybe do the writing and then never felt that I was maybe qualified to produce and arrange. Where actually on this, the ideas were just flying off my head. So that was a good experience. And John and I, we have such fun because we have such a love of music and our history of the music we listen to. So we just get influenced by everything that we've ever loved, really.
How is your songwriting working? Do you have some technical device or just pen and paper back home, or?
I just use GarageBand because I can't play anything and I can't write music. So I spend all day sort of going, that sounds good. I'll put that together and I'll go, that sounds good. So I make up chords. So, and because of the GarageBand, I can do different tracks. And so I'll do one track where I'll do a chord and leave a gap, then do another chord and leave a gap, and then I'll play it, and then when it comes to the gap, I'll do another chord, and then I'll shift it. So then I can so that's how I write my songs, and I've only been doing that now for the last couple of years, and it's such a liberation. It's the first time I've used an instrument to write with, because I didn't think I could do that. I didn't believe that I could do that, so I always had to just rely on the melody in my head. But by doing it that way, it's allowed me to be much more adventurous in the melodies that I make over the top. Because some of the chords, if you listen to the chords, it's like, what the fuck? But when I put the melody on top, it's like, that really works, because I can hear it in my head. So for me, it's been a really great liberation.
And are you good memorizing the stuff you wrote, or is it you have to listen over and over again till everything is in your ear?
I can't remember yesterday, so trying to memorize it that takes quite a bit for me. I still forget some of the songs I've been doing for the last 25, 30 years. I will still get the lyrics of Don't Leave Me This Way, The Wrong Way Round. And so I'll sing them, and I'll watch people, and I'll think, what they're going to sing. So I have to watch the audience so that I can remember what to sing.
You're wrong in the audience, right?
No, they're always right. I'm always wrong.
That's bad. At what point of the production do you set up the track list? Because Learned to Talk is the total not disco song. It's at the end of the album. Why is that?
I think that's real. That's a real respect to that kind of era and the genre, because a lot of the albums that I have, a lot of stuff I listen to, you would have this track at the end, which would be the kind of ballady, slow one, and then because at the very end where you have the drum roll and then it goes into the hold on, that was something that I came up with at the very end of the writing, and almost like as we were in the studio, because it was just going to end just normally. And then I just suddenly thought it'd be so great just to do this big kind of almost like celebration, hold on, never let it go. Because I think that's a great way to finish an album that's about optimism and hope and celebration. It's like, just hold on.
Then you just have to push the replay button over and over and over again. Some other stuff. Probably you heard about the Elton John statement about Dolce and Gabbana. May I ask you, or is it boring?
No, it's funny because it's an important, it's a very kind of serious issue. But what you now have is a bunch of rich bitches all telling each other, "I'm not going to wear Dolce and Gabbana," and you just think, "Fuck off." It's like, and I think the last thing I read was Martina, I can never say her name, Martina Navratilova, Martina Ravioli. She's sort of going, "I'm now going to wear my Dolce and Gabbana shirts," and you just think, who cares? It's the actual, because the real politics of this are really important, because it's about people jumping on these statements, especially the right jumping onto the statements which these men have made. But they're entitled to their opinion. If you don't like them, that's and again, that's fine, but they're Catholic, they're Italian, they have traditional values, and this is what they said. So the whole thing is becoming like a bunch of celebrities just bitching each other, and that's what people are focusing on. Whereas the serious note is that other people have hijacked it. Right-wing politicians have hijacked it. So there's now a debate, which is a much stronger debate. Because in France there has been massive demonstrations on the streets against gay marriage. And this happens in some of the stronger Catholic countries. But I can see where that comes from. It's about tradition, it's about values that are held very strongly within the Catholic kind of like community, within the church, etc. So it's a big change. So there is going to be a big reaction.
Have you missed at some point having a child?
I did, and that created a lot of problems for me when I was in my 30s. I really wanted to have kids, but I didn't feel that I could ever be responsible, and I didn't feel that I could do, and so that really made me very, very sad. And then that impacted on more of my problems. So yeah, and I always regretted that. But what I forgot to really embrace, I did embrace it, but I really forgot that all of my friends have kids, and those kids love me unconditionally, and those kids give me the most incredible love. So that's good. That's my family. They're my kids, and I adore them. And I spoil them, and I love them, and they give me this love. And now the oldest is Sarah. She's now 30, and the youngest from my friends is Connie, and she's now 6. So I've had these. So and there's so many. So I'm a very lucky man. A very, very lucky man.
So family by choice, so to say.
Yes. And a loving and caring family.
Last question, have you heard of Atemlos? Atemlos durch die Nacht. There was this discussion. Yeah,
okay.
Noel Gallagher just said in an interview that it's the total shit at all. What's your opinion about Schlager?
I love Schlager, and I think it's really strange because when I was younger, I loved Amanda Lear, but everyone who was English that I knew would just look at me and go, "What the hell are you listening to?" And I love Schlager. But I also think that what I love about Germany, and this is not basically me slagging off the German nation, but Germans have got two. They can love shit and they can love class. You know, they are incredibly productive in style and taste, but at the same time they have no fear to love trash and to love kitsch. Yeah, the Germans can embrace it, but I think that if you can embrace kitsch, then it gives you a better understanding of quality. So, and if you can go between the two, then that means that you're pretty sorted, really. So, and I love it. I think I love watching those programs on a Saturday night where I was standing on some bloody alpine hill, just all singing on the Alps, especially in Bavaria. It's so bad, it's brilliant.
What is it like in Scotland with mountains and the music?
We don't have television programs like that, no. No, we don't have TV shows like that.
Alright, so I think that's it. Thank you so far. Now we want to hear some music. Or would you like to do some?
That was far too masculine.
Thank you.